Hello and welcome to a game of Ice and Fire. Let me bring everybody back in. Alright, so we've got Martin as played by James. We've got Bartholomew Thali Storm is Josh, and Radava Ironhand Harclay as Colin. And yeah, let's talk about the last session real quick before we get started. It began with a dream that Martin had. He woke up from that dream to breakfast. After breakfast, he went to his lessons with the maester, which is kind of the person that functions as a lot of different roles in the household. But one of those is teacher, so he was taking his morning lessons on the Blackfire rebellions with Maester Hargreave and his assistant Nicholas, when Martin's sister Lorena interrupted and invited all three of them to a meeting in the Lord's Solar, kind of the meeting chamber that they use in Skrel Castle. And then from there we picked up with Thali at the archery butts with some of the other retainers of House Skrel, Voro and Nim. They kind of made some bets on some shots, and Thali showed his prowess with the longbow and made some particularly noteworthy shots there at the very end, and finished with a bit of a flourish, throwing some arrows into buckets. And then they all three were invited to the Solar as well, where they met with Lord Baylor Skrel, and they met with Radava Harclay, Ironhand, and some other members of the household. Sir Claes Harker, who is the Castellan, Sir Marcus Cantel, who is the Master at Arms, and then the household knights, Sir Merrick Sand and Sir Darren Forloren. And it was brought to everyone's attention that there had been a shipwreck off the southern coast of the island, and there is concern for any potential survivors, both just because if they have been shipwrecked, they may not be able to travel. If there are any wounded, they may be in trouble. And it is a known haunt for pirates and outlaws, so there is concern for their safety there as well. So it was decided that some men be sent under the command of Sir Merrick Sand to the southern coast to just investigate, see what happened, see if there was anyone there, what could be done. Thali and Ironhand were both assigned as well, and Voro of Liss was convinced to volunteer. Eventually Martin himself also decided that he wanted to accompany the expedition, and Lord Baylor initially refused, but after some arguing with Thali, Ironhand, and then they were able to convince some additional assistance, both by Maester Hargreave and Voro. They finally convinced Lord Baylor to let Martin accompany them. And that is kind of where we left off, with the pulling out of the maps. So, bringing everyone back in. I have you guys looking at the table where everyone is currently, but I can also now bring out a map of the island, just so that you guys can see what we're going to talk about, because we will now talk about how to get to where we need to go. Before we do that, though, there is one thing that I didn't take care of last week that I didn't think was super necessary, but I also just didn't cover it at all, so I should do that. We did the House Fortune roll last week, and you guys gained 7 wealth for the house with that roll. There is also the option to have a house action. So you can actually do something with the household each month. You don't have to, but it is an option. There are a few different things that you can do. You can manage resources, which, if you have the book pulled up, is on page 123. But brief summary, you can take certain resources and exchange them at a given ratio for another resource. So for some of these, there's a bit of a limitation. So you can only exchange influence for law, or law for influence, defense for lands, or vice versa, power for population. You can't exchange power for lands. You can exchange wealth for anything, but the ratio is a 2 to 1. On most of these, it's just a 1 to 1. And let's see. So there's a chart on page 123 of that handbook if you wanted to look at that as an option. You can do so of any amount. So you gained 7 wealth. Your house already had, I think, 5 that was uninvested. So you've got a decent chunk already. You could exchange that and put that into another resource, or you can begin a project by investing that wealth into a holding. The holdings we talked about in house creation, your options there are a little limited because you don't have a lot of resources left over from that to do anything with, but you do have enough wealth for you to get. You could invest it in a mine, which would grant you a +5 bonus on house fortune rolls in the future. That would require a 10 wealth investment. And it would take 24 plus 2d6 months before you would start getting the benefits from that. So a long time, like between 2 and 3 years, before you would actually start to receive any benefits from that mine, because that's how long it would take to build. You could alternatively invest in an artisan, which is 10 wealth, but only takes 2d6 months. And there are a few different things that an artisan can do. It can make all of the weapons forged in your house count as castle forged, which is essentially a +1 weapon. You can make the cover benefits from fortifications increase by +1. You can add 1 to your house fortune rolls. You can do a couple different things with it. You can also just, if there's an idea that you have that you think would be worth that kind of an investment, talk to me about it and I'll see what I can make work. Right now, I think those are your only options, because you already have a port, and you already have a marketplace, and you already have a maester. You can't have a Godswood because you're not in the north, and a sept and a guild are too much wealth. So
I like the idea of an artisan. I like the idea of us being able to have castle forged steel.
Yeah, so the way that would work is, if you wanted to do that, I would just, on your house sheet, I would mark your investment of 10 wealth into that. And then I would have you guys roll, somebody would roll 2d6, and then starting on this month, however many months from now that pass, you would then start getting castle forged weapons in your household.
I like the idea of a mine, but good God, like,
yeah, it is a long
it's
time
at least,
there.
I mean, it's 26 months at the minimum.
Yep.
Well, I mean, you do it now or you do it later. If you start it now, then it's started at least.
True.
That's true. And we don't start seeing the +5 until after that time period. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah.
So we're gonna time skip at some point, is what you're telling. That's what you're telling.
Well,
forward to
so yeah, one of the, I mean, part of what we'll be doing today with this travel is
Ollie's growing a beard.
I'm not going to have you guys role play every minute of every day. You're going to have time moving forward during this, and
Ollie
you're
has
about to see how long
show
it takes
that
to
time
get there,
has passed.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I mean that's that. Okay, I don't know. I love instant gratification, but James is right.
and
You either
once you begin a project, it's not like you can't begin any other projects until
Right,
that one is
right.
done. You can have several projects going. You can only it's just that you can only begin one project per month.
And we already have pretty decent wealth growth, so taking what we've already gotten and expanding it further does seem like a pretty good idea for the early game.
All right, that's fine. Let's go mines.
Yeah?
James,
You
thoughts?
want to build a mine?
Yeah.
I'm with it.
I like that.
Okay.
I need more coins. It's
All
important.
right. Yeah. So I mean, that's gonna increase your house fortune rolls by 5. Yeah. All right.
Cool.
So, and those will be built. Let me take a look at that map. Actually, it's probably gonna go.
Sorry. That was horrifying.
in that area. We'll see.
Hell yeah.
All right, cool. Well, I will go ahead and put that in your house sheet, and I will get that updated at the end of tonight's session.
Sweet.
All right. So, who wants to roll the 2d6 though, to determine how long it's going to take?
Martin does, because he's the lord of
Yeah,
lordling, the little
I think
lordling.
that's probably the safest play.
I mean,
Okay.
because then if bad things happen, we can blame James.
Yeah, I mean, you're
Okay.
looking at 24 plus 2d6, so you're already
Yeah.
starting at 2 years out.
Thanks,
Okay.
James.
Yeah, I know. It's all my fault. Too bad I can't roll negative dice to take time away.
We just have to find a way to make that plus a minus. That's all.
All right, ready?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do it.
12.
No!
No,
you
you rolled
did.
2
Damn.
6s.
I did. I totally did.
Yahtzee!
Fucking weird.
Yeah.
All right, 36
3
months
years.
later.
All right, I'm gonna go get some alcohol.
Better be in a
Sorry.
damn
That's
good
how-
mine.
That's how tonight's going, huh?
All right.
So that's where we're
It'll
at.
be my only good roll all night.
Yeah.
I know, right? Well, it wasn't. It wasn't a good roll. So
Right, let's say that's your only bad roll all night.
right, yeah.
I can actually pull this up. Yeah. And show people what your sheet looks like.
Only substantial roll all night.
Holy Moses.
There we go. There we go.
Yeah, that's the one roll. That's the one kind of roll that you don't want to be very high, though.
Mm-mm.
And yet here we are.
No, Drew, you don't
Yeah.
say.
Dang, dude.
Would never have guessed.
Yeah, that's too bad.
It's
All
a
right.
little bit of a bummer, but here
Well,
we are.
there you are. Okay,
It's
so
like a-
the next part is to determine how you guys get there.
Very
instead of-
carefully.
Instead of taking care of this, let's see, let me get you guys on that part of the thing. All right, so here's the island. Make sure that the people out at home can see everything.
We're talking about
So now you should be looking at Skrel Island, right? Is that what
Correct.
everyone's
Yeah.
seeing? All right. So you have to get from Skrel Castle, where you guys are, and there should be a little marker that is hard to see actually on the castle, a little black indicator
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
And you guys need to get to kind of the southern coast of the island, generally speaking. Now, I have taken the time to actually measure things out and see how long travel times would take.
Thank you, Drew.
So, and because I am not going to let us fall into the how in the world does everyone in this have a jetpack problem that the show ran into, and we're gonna have travel times that actually make sense.
All right.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't travel by crow?
Nope. So there are a few different ways to get there. You can travel. Obviously, you can travel by foot to get to the coast. You can travel by horseback, which will be faster. You can take boats down the Adder River to the port of the Blue Wharf, where you can book passage on either a ship that House Skrel owns, or you can buy passage on another ship, should you wish to, and there take a ship to the southern coast. If you take a ship, you're looking at not being able to, if you take boats really at all, you're not going to be able to take your horses with you, if you have horses. And if you take, well, let me just kind of go through the parts.
Well,
So, yeah, go ahead.
Let me cut into this a little bit. It's about 50 miles,
Mm-hmm.
roughly, regardless of how we dice it.
Yep.
And do we know an exact location based on like an eyewitness account of where the?
Oh, somebody knows how to use Roll20.
An eyewitness account. We
So-
know exactly where the shipwreck is.
You
It
would
has it-
know-
It,
you
has
would
it listed
know-
as feet for some reason.
It does have it listed as feet. Yeah, I can change. Oh, that is.
But then
kinda
you'd
weird.
have to alter the scale and alter.
Yeah,
that
I'd have
would
to
be
alter
very
the scale.
complicated.
I'm not going to
Whoever's
do that.
whoever's doing that could just match it up with the legend and do the math.
Yeah, that's kind of vaguely what I did. So
Okay,
that's how
but-
this would work.
But here's the thing. We know
Yes.
based on an eyewitness account where it is that we're going.
Yes. So yes,
Okay.
you know close enough how to get there
So
by ship or by land.
the other thing that we know is that these are waters which have the potential to be piratey. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So-
Piratey waters.
I would say that travel by. Well, here. I mean, we can just do it this way. So Thali kind of looks around at, you know, I guess this meeting is
Yeah,
still
so-
happening or it's
Yeah,
adjourning.
to bring it back into a kind of role play perspective. Yeah, so when we last left off, Lord Baylor asked the Maester to go grab the maps. So the Maesters have
Okay.
the Maester took the time to go and grab the map that essentially just think a sepia version of what you're looking at right now,
Sure.
and there you go. That's the
Yes, but
that's the
different,
map
yeah.
that he's got pulled out. And he's laid it on the table, the long table that you guys saw before, and yeah, now everybody is kind of leaning over that, and Lord Baylor looks over at Sir Clace and says, "Yes, and whereabouts was the shipwreck? Where do we have the report?" And if you scroll down to kind of the bottom of the island, and I will do this for the people at home, there is at the very bottom tip of the rocky section of the map, there's like two little
Nubbins.
nubbins,
They're
and
nubbins.
there's a little crescent-shaped cove right there. Off that coast is where the ship went down.
South.
So
East or
let me
west?
see if I can show you guys my cursor,
Something like in here.
because then I can just
Question mark.
point at it like he would be with his finger.
Oh, don't worry.
Wait,
Oh.
how do I do
Is it
that?
the little blue thing right here?
No,
Uh,
it is
The other one.
this, right? It won't let me do it.
For me, if I click and hold it, it does that little beacon thing.
Oh, that.
Aha!
It's
Mm.
that one.
Oh,
There
it's
you
the
go.
little nubbins.
Yeah. Right off
Okay.
the little nubbins.
All right, cool.
That is where Sir Clace Harker points. This is about where the scouts told me it was. And then, if you sounded like you had something.
Oh, yeah, I would say, well, I know that I would be comfortable by sea, but I don't think that that would be wise given the sort of activity that can go on down there. So by land, I'm assuming is safest for all involved.
On the other, if we travel by sea, we know where all the pirates are.
And they, in turn, know where we are.
Sure, but what, you think we can't handle a few of the scumsuckers what trail around the waters out there?
I mean, I can't speak to a lot of you, but I can hit the fly off the nose of a pirate for pretty good distance.
Well,
That said, you do raise a fair point.
that would be an option. It would probably take time to fit the ships and prepare them for any sort of real combat, but if you wanted to take one of the ships, you could. And you would know just a unit of ships, of warships, which is what you have as a household, is 5 ships. So you could take just one of the ships and use that. In combat, we would just if it came to it, we would just change the statistics. If you wanted to take all of the ships, that would probably take some time. I think speed is part of what we're looking for here. Obviously, I think the ships would be the fastest route. You don't have to rest at night. But you're right. It would be less discreet. And put you in danger of any seafaring pirates. You could, I believe, at least take some small boats from the castle down to the Blue Wharf, and from there take your horses down the rest of the way. Or you can simply leave and go straight overland. And so that you know what kind of time difference you'd be looking at here, if you took the boats down the river to the Blue Wharf, it would take 20 hours, and you wouldn't be able to bring any horses, but you would have the option to eat and sleep on the boats, which means that you could make progress at night. If you wanted to. And you can do that at no cost. But it does mean that you have to leave horses back. You can then take ships from the Blue Wharf to the shipwreck, or the area that ship went down. It won't cost you anything to do that because those are ships owned by you. This would be a journey of roughly 50 miles because you have to kind of go around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
So it would take between 25 and 50 hours to reach, depending on the wind. But that is another thing that you don't have to worry about sleep stopping your travel because you don't anchor the ships at night. You keep going. So if you wanted to bring your horses, that would take about 20 hours to get to, 20 hours on foot to get to the Blue Wharf. If you were on horseback, it would only take 5 hours, 10 if you took any sort of pack animals. You can also, with horses, they give you the option to gallop for an hour, roughly, which I would just do as kind of group rolls. And if you guys succeed, you can essentially speed up for that hour and make it in less time, potentially making it to the port in just over 2 hours with some probably pretty tired horses. You can travel the entire distance on foot, which would take about 100 hours. And you can travel on horseback for the last bit with pack animals would take 50 hours, without would take 25, and would add the gallop option back in. So that's what you're looking like as far as your options for the different distances. But you've got horses and boats and things to consider in there as well.
We've got quick options and we've got safe options.
Well, we did promise that we'd bring the lad back safe and sound. Maybe we take the safest option, which I think is to take the boats down to the Blue Wharf and then hoof it the rest of the way. Less conspicuous if we're not on horseback. Slower, sure, but easier to hide.
All right. That would require boat passage down to the Blue Wharf, and then you would just be taking provisions the rest of the way?
I think it's our safest option, but I leave any real decision making in the hands of those of us who are more used to existing out in the wilderness.
And at that, Nim will pipe up and say, I might be able to help. I don't know if I could help get us there faster, but I know the area well. If we were to get lost in the rocks or need to find a way, I've been out of the city more than I've been here. Might not be a bad idea to accompany. Lord Baylor kind of looks around, looks over at the three of you for any indication.
Amenable to whomever wishes to come along. More hands makes lighter work, right?
Right. As long as the little lad doesn't mind a little extra footwork, should be all right. Kind of looks at Martin and grins a little.
Calluses on your feet build character.
And I really don't have anything to say to that.
Think of it as a more physical lesson than what you're used to.
Just rolls his eyes. I'm only 14, so y'all make the plans, make the decision, and that's what we'll do.
14? I was a man grown at 14. I've seen my fair share already. Lived several lives since 14.
Fair share of what? Other buggerers.
You see, I was more like the kid. I was a rancid little shite.
And at that,
well,
Lord Baylor kind of looks
we
over at you and gives you a bit of a glare, but doesn't say anything. Very well. Nim, you can accompany. Is there anyone else that wishes to go? And Maester Hargreave pipes up and says, I maybe not myself, but I think what we're looking for here is we're looking for survivors. Is that correct? He kind of looks over at Baylor, and Baylor nods. Yes, of course. It might be a good idea to have someone around that knows how to tend a wound, perhaps. I should stay here. I have my matters to attend to as your advisor, but my assistant Nicholas might be able to accompany. He is no fighter by any means, but knows how to tend to wounds and might be helpful, and at the very least he can perhaps continue educating Martin on this journey and continue his lessons while he's away from the castle. And Nicholas looks kind of eager and says, yes, I wouldn't mind to go on a bit of an adventure. I don't know. What do you think, young lord?
I thought I was going to be getting out of lessons, but The reasoning is sound enough, I guess.
You learn something new every day, they say.
Yes, and I dare say the lessons that we'll be learning won't all be about the Blackfire rebellions. Maybe some herb knowledge. Maybe Nim can show us a thing or two about some herbs and what plants to avoid, that kind of thing.
How close am I to the kid? How close am I to Martin? We're just kind of wherever we want to be right now?
Yeah, I let you guys, or I mentioned that you could be sitting wherever you wanted to. I know that you specifically needed to be next to Voro to kick him in the shin or whatever you did last time. So I know that you're at least sitting next to him, and I kind of envisioned Martin towards the head of the table, but other than that, I don't have a specific place that you are. If you have a place that you would like to be, just say so.
Yeah, I mean, I was just gonna try and tell Martin. I don't know if I can or not, but I'll do it in character anyways, in the off chance that I can, and say, I'll try and help keep you entertained, so maybe they don't take up all of your time while we're out.
Yeah, you would be. Yeah, you can be close enough to say that. I mean,
Okay.
there's. This is kind of all kind of conversational. If you wanted to say that as an aside to him at some point, yeah, definitely doable. Oh boy.
Lots of different styles of learning, and not all of it has to be in books. Kind of give him a wink.
Wink, wink, and a nod. Sorry.
And I don't have any more beer, and that's upsetting.
Yeah,
That is unfortunate.
I got excited about the one that I'm. Oh, and you guys will all get a kick out of this. And YouTube audience, I don't care. It's Monday, and I went to the store earlier, and
Monday.
I got a.
It's
That
the
is backwards,
Mondays.
but it's
All
it's the
right.
Mondays. So
Excellent.
That's pretty good.
yep,
not bad.
and this one is Dr. Robot, which is a
Oh,
blackberry
yes.
lemon sour,
Stuff is
Ooh.
delicious.
and that is what it
Smells
looks
good.
like. And
It's like soda pop.
Yeah, I started pouring it and just got really excited. So if you heard me exclaim a
Understandable.
minute ago, that was what I was exclaiming about.
That's like Coca-Cola. All right.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's good.
Head them up, move them out rawhide.
Yeah, all right. So it sounds like you've decided on adding Nim and Nicholas. Is there anyone else that you think you might want with you?
I think the fewer that go, the better chances we have of not being spotted by anyone untoward.
Oh, almost certainly.
Keep
All
it
right.
small.
Not a bad idea. Would you be taking any horses, or will it just be on foot?
The way you made me understand it, Drew, is that we can't take. Can we pick up horses at the Blue Wharf or no?
You could. It is. I mean, horses are available in a lot of different places, and you can buy, rent, borrow. Because of your mission here, you would be able to pick up like roundsies at. I think it was roundsies. What did I say? Even had an option for this at some point. Yeah. Everybody can take roundsies at the Blue Wharf if you wish, owned by the house.
Now, just in
use
case,
them.
like, the audience didn't know what a roundsy was, I'm assuming that's a breed of horse. I mean, the audience might be assuming that's a breed of horse.
That is so there are a few different types of horses in this game. Let me pull them up so that you kind of get an idea.
Don't tweet at me, horse people. Are we famous enough for people to tweet at us yet?
Nobody has seen any of these yet.
I'm sure we are.
I haven't started uploading them yet.
I'm sure.
I guess only if you have a Twitter, so that counts me out.
Yeah, I tweeted one tweet about it.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So it's on everyone's radar.
Very vaguely, and I think 3 people liked it, so you know.
Hey.
Hey.
Still,
Imagine how
and-
many friends they have. This is already possibly witnessed by
All right.
thousands of people.
Where was I looking?
Yeah.
I'm looking for horses. There are horses in equipment.
But okay, sorry, just
Mm-hmm.
to talk while you're doing that, just to talk.
Yep. Go for it.
So we're looking for the safest option. The lordling is going to be used to being on horseback.
Mhm.
There's no doubt that's the
So-
case.
Yeah, if you're worried about safety, horseback is not an unsafe option. It is a
Yeah.
fast option,
Hmm.
but it is not necessarily unsafe. I mean, you're traveling over there
Over hill,
are
over
there
dale,
are no
right.
real roads. I mean, it is just essentially open country, but it is fairly open country. You didn't have enough land points to invest in any sort of forest, so the tree coverage that is on the island is minimal and doesn't actually constitute a forest. So yeah, you would essentially be riding over plains and kind of hilly places until you get down south, where it will be rocky and a little bit mountainous.
Okay.
So yeah, line of sight's gonna be pretty open as well. So the opportunity for ambushes and things like that aren't super worrisome until you get kind of towards the south in those rocky areas. That's
What
where
say
you
you, Iron
will
Hand?
win.
Should we take a team of horses? Does that still meet all of our needs and get us there in relative
Well, it's
ease and
certainly
safety?
faster. Anybody looking for us would see us coming a mile away, but we'd be on them before they could do much about it, I think. How are you at horseback archery?
Probably terrible.
I think that I think there is a disadvantage to using a longbow on horseback.
Sure there is.
Which is
Almost
what
certainly.
you have. If you
Sure
had
do.
a hunting bow, if you're using a hunting bow or a double curved bow, or there's a couple other bows. If you were using one of those, I don't think they impose disadvantage. But I think there's some part of the longbow that prevents you from doing that well.
Well, I'm sure you'll be
Um,
fine either.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Horses. Where are they? That's their cost. Well, that still gives you an idea. So there are like almost what was this 9 different types of horse.
That's a lot of horse.
Yeah. So mules are mules. They're pack animals. If you needed to carry stuff for a long journey, you might want mules to carry that stuff. If you only had enough, you were only bringing enough stuff that you had saddlebags enough for it, that'd be one thing. There are war horses, so destriers, coursers, and sand steeds. Oh no, I think that's probably it. Those are your war horses. Palfreys, I think, can be ridden, but I don't think they really do like any extra combat stuff.
Sandsteeds sound way cooler than I bet they actually are.
Sandsteed it's not an actual steed made out of sand. It is
Why?
just
A bummer.
a horse that is accustomed to the sands. But they are breeding.
it's a camel.
They are bred in Dorne, so you would have access to those pretty readily.
Sounds like
But
a
they are
camel to me.
also
to
the
me.
most expensive mount that you can get. They're 1,200 silver. So
Well, I don't have that.
It's not as-
Well, it sounds like we're hoofing it. And that is no horse pun intended.
if we're done horsing around,
Yes. So the Roundsy that he's offering is essentially just a riding horse. It is not a war horse. So if you were to fight on it, it probably wouldn't handle that well. Those of you that have horses, you may have a horse that is accustomed to combat, in which case some of those actually can take combat actions and stuff like that.
Now, I do have a quick question.
Mhm.
Which one of you is going to be letting me ride on your horse now?
Right.
Well, Sir
On
Merrick,
account of I can't do that.
You can't do that? What do you mean?
Well, I'm not good at it.
Not good at riding on horses.
Not even a little bit.
I mean,
I've spent my entire life on a boat out on the ocean.
You-
I know fuck all about horses.
You can't ride a horse.
Not particularly well.
yeah.
Kind of
Does
points
all
out
the
towards
work.
towards the ocean. Like, find me a horse what can run on that, and I'll talk to you. Until then, I've had no use for him.
Thali does get a good kick out of that because Thali's resonating with this real hard right now, especially since he knows that the longbow is impractical on a horse.
Mm-hmm. Is that? I don't have to ask that. I'm not gonna ask if that's why you're arguing to go on foot. Okay, yeah, on foot is a perfectly valid option. It'll
It's gonna take us a while, and the
it'll take a
Lordling's gonna be
while.
mad about it.
Yeah,
But
it'll take a
Willing
while.
to try the horses, just it's going to be real funny.
So if you're worried about your ability to ride horses, just to go ahead and clarify,
Worried is a
pretty much-
strong word.
pretty
but
much everybody has a 2 in everything. Is that
yes.
that's fair to say that you have a 2 in animal handling? Everybody has at least a
Oh,
2
yeah.
in animal handling.
Yeah.
All right, that means
Yeah.
that you're able to do normal stuff, which I would say riding a horse from a place to a place that is trained to carry people, you're fine. If you were to try and ride a horse into battle, specifically a horse that's not bred for that, and a Roundsy's probably not bred for that, probably just a travel horse, then you might run into more problems, especially if you're not, if you don't have extra stuff for handling horses. But to get to and from a place on horseback, not that hard. But if you don't want to be on horseback, and I'll also say this, you don't have to be on horseback the whole time. You can
This is true.
take any amount of the time traveling and be off of horseback. And that is all I will say. Now, I'll let you guys finish deciding now.
I suppose if we want to be there and back in any real amount of time before our dear Lord Baylor gets too fraught over the missing of his son in the field, we might ought to take the horses anyway. I would hate to impose any further discomfort upon him.
well, seems like a horse it is.
All right. Will you be taking horses directly from the castle, or do you want to travel by boat down to the Blue Wharf first? Traveling on horseback is actually, I think, faster than traveling by boat down to the Blue Wharf.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate.
Which is, I was
That's
actually
true.
surprised by. But traveling on river by boat is pretty slow. I think it's, where is it? 20 hours by boat. Oh, there it is.
They hadn't invented the
5
outboard motor at this point in this.
Yeah, it would take. Okay, so you could get there in 10 hours if you took horses and mules enough to carry like any extra supplies, or if you anticipate having to bring anything back.
No, pack it light.
Pack animals would take about 10 hours, so you could do that in a day's worth of travel could get you there. And then from the Blue Wharf, it would take, with pack animals, would take 50 hours. So another roughly 5 days of travel.
What is, I guess, like, Thali's not interested in taking pack animals. Thali's thinking
wanna
about
get there
packing
as fast-
light and
Okay.
getting there.
If you don't want to take pack animals, you
Not
can...
necessarily for speed, but more for like utility. Like, I understand the need for like pack animals, but
So-
like, let's pack light. Let's get down there. If the goal is to not be seen, which we've mentioned a few times, like pack
Mhm.
animals, I think is going to be not
If
great.
you don't take pack animals, the time to get to the Blue Wharf is only 5 hours. And going from the Blue Wharf to the coast where the shipwreck is would be 25 hours. So it effectively cuts your time in half.
Okay.
Not taking pack animals.
That's my vote. Is that we go ahead and get some horses, get down to the wharf,
And it
spend the night.
it adds a gallop option if you want to use that at any points during that. What that would be is you would make your horses essentially would make an endurance test for that hour, and if they succeed, then you gallop that entire hour and you're able to cover it in half the time.
Sure.
Any subsequent hours, the difficulty just goes up a bit. So you can do it until they get tired and have to stop, and then you rest for those. You know, that's how that would work. So, yeah. So if you don't want to take pack animals, yeah, you're looking at a 5-hour trip to the Blue Wharf, and then 25 hours.
Okay. Let's do it.
Maximum. That's
That
maximum.
seems reasonable. It'll certainly prove entertaining.
All right. Well, I can assure you, Maester Hargreave, why don't you have Corwin set aside mounts for everyone and have them readied? What sort of provisions should we prepare? We'll be gone for the better part of at least a week. Provisions for 7 days at the minimum, and what does everyone have that we might need to bring? I would advise everyone bring their weapons and armor. What else does everyone have that might be of use?
I don't have much useful other than
And blessedly, most of what we need is sort of provided by the castle. I myself just carry the arms and armor that I've been known to carry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for the most part, Martin, I think you have the most as far as the actual physical items in your inventory, from what I'm aware of. The one thing that I would note is if you wanted to bring your tent, that's a bit of space. So you can do it. You could do it with like an additional horse. Just take an additional horse for the tent and extra supplies.
Okay.
And I would just say that one additional horse could carry that and what you would need, and you would still be able to travel at the same speed. But as far as like packing a bunch of stuff in addition to that, probably not.
Gotcha.
But so if you wanted to take your tent, because you did buy a pavilion tent, or you have one in your inventory, you can choose to take that, and that is big enough that it will actually house everybody at night, should you choose to. Most of the rest of your stuff is small enough that it would fit in your pack. So I'm not going to say that you would need to worry about anything in addition to that.
Okay.
But yeah, I just wanted to make note that for your tent to come along, probably we'll have to have an extra horse, but I'm not going to count that against you.
Okay.
Cool.
All right. Well, I think it would be a good idea to go ahead and get this taken care of as quickly as possible. How soon do you think we can be ready to move? And he looks over at Sir Merrick. Sir Merrick says, I can be ready within an hour or so if we wanted to go ahead and get on the road today.
Rodova swings his feet off of the table where he's propped them up and just kind of stands up. And all right, I'm ready. Let's go.
Lord Baylor kind of looks around at Nicholas and Nim and Thali. Nicholas kind of pats himself and is like, I don't have anything really. I can go to the chambers and make a bit of a pack of sorts. Let me go ahead and go do that. But yes, I can be ready to go as soon as is needed. And he kind of scurries off to go get his things ready. Nim kind of, I'm ready.
As am I.
All right. Sir Clace, if you will let Corwin know about the horses, I will go ahead and say farewell, and I wish you the best of luck. Bring me news as soon as you can, and take care of my son.
Of course. Like I said, we won't let nothing happen to him.
I trust that you won't. All right. Off to it then. And everybody kind of goes to handle their own business. You are let out of the meeting to handle whatever it is that you want to handle before you begin this little journey. So is there anything that anyone wants to take care of in the intervening hour or hours?
I got nothing.
Yeah, I'm looking here through my possessions, and I got a big old nothing.
Yeah, well, I would go ahead and put your silver in your personal gear, if that's
it's there.
If we're using the same thing. Yeah, if you want, I would say to add like a backpack. Let me see what the other people have on here.
I have a backpack.
Yeah, you're gonna have. You're gonna. Yeah, you actually
have. I
have.
don't have any of this shit. How did I end up not having any of this shit?
We let when we rolled up your character, I said that you had X amount of silver that you were going to start with, and you could spend it, and you spent it, I think, mostly on the longbow, which I think was worth it, but it was most of your money.
Yeah.
So I just think you don't have a whole lot of money left. You do have now 70 silver, though, so if you wish to buy anything to go on this trip, I will, in the book, in the handbook, there is, on page 136, there's a table of goods and services. Has things like backpack, tent, the horse prices are listed there, lanterns, oil, that kind of stuff is all in there. So if there's anything on that list that you want to have, let me know, and if it's reasonable, then I won't worry about it too much. If it's unreasonable, then we'll work with it. Other than that, so Radova's good. Martin, is there anything that you wish to prepare or do before getting your horse ready and heading out?
No, I think I have everything that I would require for the trip. Are we taking our own personal horses, or are these like just castle horses?
So for you, because you have a horse of your own, you can take your own horse if you wish to.
Okay.
Because that's your horse. So yeah, you can
All right.
take that.
That's my horse.
I will take my horse then.
Yeah. And if you want to name your horse, you're more than welcome to. I'll leave that to the players as they acquire any sort of nameable items or gear.
That'll. Okay. That's going to take some thinking, but yeah,
no worries.
I will give it a name.
You don't have to. It's okay. All right, and I don't think do either of the others have horses? I don't think.
No.
I know Thali doesn't.
Do not.
I don't think Radova got one. Yeah.
Nope.
Some of the others do. I don't remember which ones.
Drew, I mean, I can throw money at it, but like, I would want to have like a backpack and a tent and lantern and.
Yeah, backpack, I would say don't worry about it. If you have a tent that you wanted to bring, I would say don't worry about cost for these items. I'd say you could already have those.
Okay.
I will
I'll just-
say that if Martin brings his tent, you won't need one because his is big enough
Is
for
Martin
everybody.
gonna let us stay in his tent? Is the question.
That is a discussion that you will have to have with Martin.
It's Amber's place.
Yeah, I would say anything under like 10 silver. If you just wanted to go ahead and add that to your inventory,
All right, I'll do it.
go for it. Anything above that,
Oh.
we can discuss.
Oh, weird. I have a sand steed.
No, you don't. You have a
Is that a
longbow.
fact?
I can't remember who started with what money, but I don't remember anyone starting with enough money
No,
to have
buddy, no.
a sand steed in addition to anything else. Like
Oh, absolutely not.
you'd have not had weapons or armor or something else important.
Did I not have
Um,
enough money from the get go? I thought I did.
Actually, you did. You did. Because
That was the
you
only one
have
who
a.
did, yeah.
I'm not gonna say, but
Oh,
you've still got
spoilers.
a little bit of money. Not enough for a sand steed, but
Yeah.
you would have. I think. Yeah. You
How
would
much? What would be considered walking around money
have.
for a character such as I? Because I'm not taking all my money with me.
Yeah. I would say just some walking around money for a. Well, okay. Here's the thing though. You're a lordling, so it would make sense for you to carry a bigger purse than the average person. Are you attempting to
Yeah.
go undercover? Or are you attempting to wear are you wearing your fine clothes as you're going riding, or are you wearing your common clothes,
No,
or are
I'm
you
just,
attempting
I'm just
to
gonna wear my common clothes when
be
we
discreet?
go.
Okay. Well, I would say for a regular person carrying around money, I would say wouldn't exceed like 100 silver stags unless you were like looking to spend a lot of money on something.
Okay.
For an actual lordling though, I mean they can carry gold around, and gold is one gold piece is worth 200 silver in this thing. So you know,
Gotcha. But
it's
also,
a bit of an order of
it's
magnitude
a
different.
singular piece of gold, so
Well, yeah. So I'm saying they can carry like bags of gold around instead of bags of silver. Now,
yeah.
your bag of gold wouldn't look like much, but
No, it wouldn't.
but you could have one.
All right. I think
Um,
I'm good.
I don't know how much
Alright.
money I have, if any. Thought I wrote
yeah,
all
I
that
don't
down. That's kind of tricky.
remember if I wrote it down. Yeah, I don't have yours written down. So
I know it's not much. I remember that much. It was not a lot. So.
I am pretty sure it was not as little as what Thali started with, though.
Heyo.
I think
Yeah,
he
I rolled
started with
real-
Yeah, he didn't roll real well, and he got a really expensive weapon.
Yeah.
As his weapon.
You know how I be. I got expensive taste.
Yeah. So I'll say roll me.
It's hard to say what it is.
roll
I
me a
see in
D4.
you.
D4.
The one note harmony.
Because we didn't.
Yep.
We don't have a thing for this yet, or because we didn't write this down.
Right.
Go ahead and
Finally, I
decide it.
figured it out.
Boy, this auto blur on your screen is really fun when you turn around and it's just your shoulder that's in focus.
I know. It's great. It's wild.
I was like, ugh, this looks so strange.
It was
That was
terrifying a
you
little
got
bit, but it was kinda
You rolled a
cool.
D4?
Yeah, and rolled a 4.
Well,
Oh,
look
all
at
right.
y'all.
Well, you have 400 silver then.
Sweet.
Huh? Can I roll a D4?
Mm.
What?
No, we remembered how much silver you had. You have 70 now.
I said I had at least 25.
And I wrote down that you actually had 50. And because
Fine.
I forgot how much we had for Colin, and I know that it was
ADHD
more than
saves
you
my
had.
ass again.
Yeah. There's the that's the narrator decision. Okay. Anybody have anything left? Everybody's
I'm only
taking
going.
their armor and weapons.
I'm gonna take like 150 silver with me.
Okay.
And I will leave
The rest
the
of
mirror
it.
slim that I have here.
Okay.
I don't see any need to take that.
Fair enough.
Understandable.
Actually, you know what? I will take it. It doesn't take up a whole lot of space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a lens. It's like,
Yeah.
a big coin size. It's not that huge.
Gotcha.
Cool. All right. So everybody has a decent idea of what they're taking with them. Let me see. I will look up and see if there's anything about this horse, but I don't think that there is. All right. So after a time, you are able to make your way to the stables of House Skrel, where the horses are kept. And here you meet with a man named Corwin, who you know as is the pull it up so I can not give you wrong information. So Corwin is 5'4", average build with olive skin. He is 62, but pretty handsome for a man of that age. Has a long face with a cleft chin and slanted brown eyes. Hair is short and still very thick. And he usually wears expensive clothes from Tyrosh when he's not working, and modest but quality working clothes as a stable master. So he is the master of horse for House Skrel. And you meet with him and discuss the horses that you'll be taking with you. Martin, your courser, is brought out to you, and Corwin has a number of roundsies that are brought for the rest of the group, those that don't have their own horses, and you are able to pack them up with your saddlebags. If you don't have a set of saddlebags, just go ahead and write saddlebags and roundsie on your inventory list, just
in case the audience didn't know how to spell the word roundsie.
Rounsey.
Cool.
What was the name of that stable master?
Corwin. Corwin.
Jim Bob.
Yeah, this is our world now. Jim Bob.
Jim Bob, the son of God.
Yeah.
Corwin what?
No last name.
Blue.
No last name, just Corwin. Mononym.
Yep. He is not a nobleman, just your master of horse.
He's just a Corwin. There's no Y in his name either. This guy's very out of place here.
No. It's almost like I created him and not George R. R. Martin.
Fine.
That doesn't sound
I could
right.
give him a Y in place of that I. That is remarkably out of place.
Why?
Yeah, almost everybody else has an I in their name.
A Y, you mean?
No, almost everybody else on this list has an I instead of a Y.
What?
Yep. On the list of characters that you don't see yet.
Claist has a Y in his name for no reason. It serves no purpose. It's just in there.
That's true. He's an exception. But Merrick, it's an I. Corwin, it's an I. Jarek, who you haven't met yet, is an I.
Well, he doesn't count. He's not on my list. Nim is on my list.
Nim is on your list. Yeah, the people that you can see, it's true. Yeah. But you'll get there. You'll get there. Okay, and you are able to start your journey towards the southern coast. So you are able to take these horses. If you want to just head straight on past the Blue Wharf, you can. Or you can stop in there if you wish to. Like, if you wanted to stay there tonight in a actual place and not under a tent.
At the
Otherwise,
Blue
you can just
Blue Wharf.
the Blue Wharf, yeah, which is the port, the little, not real town or city or anything, but yeah,
But something like a city,
group of
something like
buildings. Yeah,
a
it's small
village,
thing.
perhaps.
That's what. Let's do that. Let's make for the Blue Wharf.
All right.
Sleep and then head out early.
Get our rest on.
All right. So yeah, you are able to get your horses packed up, and you leave out of the kind of side of the castle and travel over the bridge and into the. Oh, I actually have. I wonder if I can show you guys this. I sure can. I already have it prepared. Look at that. I think I've shown you guys this already.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, here is the actual map of the city itself looks like, with the castle in it. Just a better rendition of it, anyway. So you guys are gonna travel out the castle gates and kind of down, in front of this big market square, and through the streets down over Red Bridge into the town of Red Bridge, and over that on down, and that will follow. That will follow the Adder River on down to the Blue Wharf.
Cool.
Hell yeah.
So, let's see. Everybody has horses. You make your way across that bridge and through the town. The town you see is, I mean, most of you have been here for a few years. And even in those 4 or 5 years, you've seen this town grow a good bit. Martin, you grew up here, so you have seen, you've seen the kind of the connections of these, what were 3 smaller little village areas, grow and kind of connect to one another. The area of Traders Rock, Ghost Bridge, and Red Bridge, all kind of growing up and around to connect to the castle that your grandfather began the construction of. The main road leading out of the town does go over Red Bridge, which is kind of the more affluent part of the town. And this, so it's a bit more upscale. You see the nicer buildings and shops and things down this way. And as you cross over the Adder River on Red Bridge, the bridge itself is 30 feet wide, and the river that it spans is 200 feet wide at its widest, where the bridge crosses. So you're able to take time and kind of look out over a bit of the expanse of that southern part of the city, kind of in the afternoon when everybody's getting back to work and some of the people are hitting the markets, and it's a bright day. It has been rainy for a while now, so the water in the ground is still evaporating. There's a moisture in the air, but it is the first clear day that you've seen in a while, and it's refreshing to feel that in the air as you cross over the bridge and on over into kind of the nicer manses and manors of the town on the far side of the river. And from there, enter the open road down south towards the Blue Wharf. Do you guys want to gallop any part of the trip to the Blue Wharf? If you do, you will be making endurance checks for your horses. If you don't, it will take 5 hours to get there.
This is kind of a wasted day because we're leaving in the morning and we have 5 hours to get there. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm fine with us just like taking our time getting there and then staying the night. I don't think
Yeah.
we need to gallop today.
Yep, I would agree.
This
That
day is
really
just
makes
kind of
sense.
burnt because we've got to go. Be good to stay in a bed tonight.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. The trip itself, 5 hours. It is a by horseback. This is a trip that most of you have taken
Mm.
time and time again. It is not unfamiliar to you. And you know, you're not really, I mean, there is no need to stop along the way to eat, so you are free to kind of walk and or ride and talk the way down there. The countryside is, it's mid-afternoon on a bright, clear day. Nothing much happening on the roads beyond the city once you get outside of Redbridge. So I will here bring us back to the big map. All right. Is there any sort of anything that anyone wants to take care of or say while they're on the road?
Nothing comes to mind. Martin?
How well do I know Thali and Iron Hand?
They have both served your household for several years now. Both of them were involved in the ransom and rescue. Thali and Radava were both part of the company of ships that went and captured the pirates and brought them back.
Okay.
So they were there for that part of it. The people that brought the ransom and therefore brought you back to your father were Sir... Let's see. I wrote this down, actually. It was definitely Sir Merrick Sand. I think it was Sir Merrick and Sir Marcus. I want to be sure. I think it was on your backstory sheet.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. Let me double check that real quick. There you are. It was, Sir Marcus and Sir Merrick. So Sir Merrick is one of the two people that traveled and brought the ransom to the outlaws, and paid the ransom to them and subsequently brought you back. It was him and Sir Marcus Cantel, who is the Master at Arms, as well as some of the archers, but it wasn't the full house force that went out and brought you back.
Okay.
But yeah, so Sir Merrick, you know from that experience, and the other two were also involved, and you've known them since around then. I think Thali has been working for about 5 or so years. Radava, I think, is about that same time frame, something close to that.
About 4,
Okay.
almost 4 years now.
Okay. Yeah, that, so around the time of your kidnapping and ransom, that was early on in both of their careers for your house, but they have served in the household since then, and they, as retainers, have worked on, odd jobs, kind of whatever your father needs from them, they get sent out to do. Thali, is a extremely skilled archer, is known throughout the Stepstones as a very skilled archer. Iron Hand, as a bit of an enigma. You've heard a few different stories about him from different people, but about his shirt of coins, and he's a bit of a character. So that's about what of the two of them. But as far as interacting with them personally, this is probably the first time that you've had real experience with these guys. Like I said, you've seen them around. You know kind of what they do. You know who
Okay.
they are. But they're not like Sir Merrick. You've had more contact with, and Nicholas you've had more contact with, because these are people that you have taken lessons under.
Okay,
But not so these other folks.
gotcha. Okay. So do they call people Mr., Mrs., and shit like that in this world?
I think that where Mr. comes from in English is master, and they would call people
Okay.
master if they were a master of something, or milord if they were a lord of something, or
Okay.
the sir. That's kind of how you would say.
Do you
Okay.
want me to?
But
Sorry, go ahead.
none of if they don't have if they aren't knights, calling
Okay.
someone sir would not be appropriate.
Okay.
Same like my lord would not be appropriate for someone who is not a lord. And neither Thali nor Ironhand holds any sort of like actual title. They're
Title,
just-
more lands.
right,
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So James, are you just trying to get to know us? Is that?
Well, I was about to.
He was
Excuse
seeing
me.
what he already knew, I think. Yeah.
Do you want me to set something up for you?
Yeah. Set it up so
Alright.
I can knock it down.
All right, we'll see how it goes. So he did reach for it, and I said zip. I zipped the arrow right between his fingers, right between the middle two, and I swear he ran from that place, and I smelled shit, and I don't know. Maybe I'm making it up, but I'm pretty sure I smelled shit. And I said to the rest of the folks in the tavern, "You'll never reach for my chicken again, will ya?" And he laughs real loud. That's all he does.
Yeah.
Mercy.
Well, that's a story from Folly. What about you, Raduva? Why did why did I call you Iron Hand?
Oh, well, it's really quite simple. You see, I grew up on ships and in and out of wharfs and docks and that sort of thing. And once upon a time, I was living in a place where a handful of your fancier lads were pressing themselves upon some friends of mine and some acquaintances, and I was well into the fourth or fifth flagon of something and didn't take too kindly to it, so I decided that I was going to do something about it, and tapped one of them on the shoulder very gentle-like and said, "Excuse me, sir," and put my hand through his armor and left him on the ground as a warning to his mates. And then I think I got a sixth flagon.
Now, when you say put your hand through his armor,
Dolly mimes like this.
Radova just sort of curls his fingers up, and some of the coins that stretch down towards his knuckles kind of tighten up as he pulls on, where they're attached to, the armored gauntlet that comes around, and just sort of shoves it forward in a very faint punching motion and smiles. Like that.
okay. So that's it?
That's it. It's a very simple tale for a very simple name. The man's iron armor happened to be made of iron, and so Iron Hand was born.
Huh. Okay. Well, do you have any more interesting stories?
Oh, sure, I guess. Depends on what you find interesting, I suppose. There was, well, no, I guess that's really kind of the same story, isn't it? There was, the one, no, that's kind of the same story too, really. I guess I do get into a lot of fights. Huh, I never really thought about it. There was the one, no, yeah, that's. No, yeah, no, I got nothing for you.
So, drinking and fighting has essentially been your life?
What else is there?
Fair chunk of it, sure. I mean, I wasn't born into a house of learning. I wasn't given any sorts of advantage in that regard. So I grew up, decided that serving drinks wasn't really for me. Fishing never really caught my interest. Smithing, I tried briefly. Hit myself with the hammer more than I did the iron, and that didn't fly so well. But fighting, I got very good at very early. As a lad growing up around rough and tumble sort of folk, it came necessity. So I got good at it, and then I kept being good at it, and then I started drinking eventually, and incorporating that into the fighting, and drinking and fighting became the safest things I could do, I guess I would say. That doesn't make a lot of sense, does it? No less true, though. If I can drink with a man, I can keep him from fighting me, and if I can't keep him from fighting me, I might as well win.
Makes sense to me.
I mean, and then Martin is just like, and then eyes ahead, just riding.
All right.
Glad to be of service to you, little lord.
Just wait till you start telling him things about what we saw out on the seas, he says to Rodova.
Oh, there's really just a lot more fighting out there, isn't there? Just on boats instead of on shore.
Different kind of sort, yeah. He passes. He's kind of riding side by side with Iron Hand and reaches in his armor and passes him a flask,
which Rodova happily accepts and takes a long swig from, before passing it back eventually.
Takes a swill from it, puts it back in his armor. Couple more hours.
Voro rides up next to you, Thali, and looks over. Where's mine?
Ugh,
I got a sip too, right? You're the
gonna
one.
drink me
tricked me
me
into
dry, you
this.
son of a whore. He passes it to him.
You know where I'm from, we didn't really give beggars a lot to drink. You had to earn that.
And Voro kind of tosses his very pleasant smelling scented oiled hair over one shoulder and kind of gives you a glare, and I've earned my keep, just as you have.
I didn't say nothing about your keep. I was talking about the drink. I
Well,
can
the
see where you
drink-
might get confused.
The drink's payback for going on this trip. Thank you,
I
Polly.
see.
How's
Appreciate
the how's the top of the foot feel?
Better now. I'm on horseback. I'm not walking, thankfully.
You'll need the rest.
Mm-hmm.
Not of the drink, and he takes it back.
Soft.
He tries to get another swig off before you do. Yeah. All right. Is there anything else anybody wants to do before camping or before reaching the Blue Wharf? No.
Just riding.
All right. Yeah, just riding.
Yeah.
Well, the afternoon passes uneventfully. The as the sun starts to go down in the evening, you begin to see on the horizon buildings and the narrow sea stretching out beyond it. You see the coastline kind of veer off in both directions, and the river kind of snaking its way down to the mouth where the buildings are. And as you approach, it's a small town village. It's not really much more than a few buildings and a section that the Skrels own that is a little bit more kind of upscale. The harbor itself is fairly large. Lots of ships you see could dock here. You know that this was a hub not only for trade in the narrow sea for the past several hundred years, but it was also chosen as the port of call for the loyalists during Robert's Rebellion. So it was big enough that it was a harbor for ships during that war as a gathering place. So it's a fairly large expanse of docks, but the buildings themselves they've seen better days. It's a little bit run down, and you get the smells of the fish and the salt as you get closer, and you're able to stay at one of the inns in the wharf should you wish. There are a few different ones to choose from. You've stated a few of them before. You know that as the Lord's son, you could say what you wish, or say that who you are and that you're on business from the Lord and stay in one of these inns for free, or you can retain your anonymity and try to book passage or book a room. You're not going anywhere.
They wouldn't know me by sight.
If you are wearing your common clothes and you're trying to make a like kind of a blend in, I'll have you make some sort of a stealth blend in check. But if you're not trying to conceal who you are, then they would likely recognize you. Yeah.
Okay. Then I'm not going to be stealthy at all in this occasion.
All right. Well, you make your way into an inn that you are familiar with, and the innkeep waves you in. Ah, Lord Martin and company. Shall I assist you with some rooms? Maybe a hot meal.
Good meal would.
Yes,
nice
please. And perhaps get some baths made for these gentlemen.
Yes, we can have a bath drawn in the room. Yes, we can get that started right away. It will take a little while, but we can do that. Yes.
That's fine. We'll need to eat.
All right, I will have that prepared right away. And he waves down one of the serving women and gets the bath situation handled. And you've taken baths. The process of taking a bath is they have to boil a pot of water, take that, put that into a thing, and then go and get another bucket of water, boil that, pour that into. It takes a long time. They can't just heat a bathtub, so it'll take a while, and Yeah, but after an hour or so, they have enough water boiled for a bath. And in the meantime, you are able to kind of sit around a table and get some hot food and some ale, should you wish. And yeah, there are. This is an inn. This is a place to stay, not a tavern to drink at. So this is more of just an evening meal type thing, not a carousing, get drunk type place.
Well, it's only the first day out. I think that's probably fair.
But yeah, so you guys are served some warm bread and some fresh boar and the some vegetables to go alongside it. Wash it down with some ale to go alongside it, and are able to take your baths in turn. I'm assuming you're insisting on everybody taking a bath.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Voro won't take any convincing. Nim kind of scoffs at the idea, but when she sees that you're serious, she just says, "Well, then I'm going first." And she goes ahead and, unless there is an objection, will take her bath before everyone else gets into the hot water.
Go for it.
And yeah, everybody is able to take their baths in turn. She's the only one that has anything to say about hers. Voro, is a pretty clean person, is used to taking baths. And
Yeah.
Sir Merrick and Nicholas are as well, so not uncommon.
Okay.
And everybody is able to have their own rooms. It is a place for plenty of people to stay. This is a port. It is not uncommon for lots of people to stay here, so everybody has their own rooms. They are straw beds, but they are still mattressed, so, and it looks like they've been changed recently, so it's not unclean, just rustic. So,
I love that for us.
mm-hmm.
Awesome.
So, is there anything
delightful.
before the night that anyone wants to do?
Nah.
Nah.
I don't think so.
All right. Well, you don't have long rests to take, so you don't have to worry about that. Yeah, the night passes uneventfully. You are able to just resume travel in the morning after breakfast. You can kind of decide how much of this next chunk you want to take out with this next ride. You've got about 25 hours of travel without any galloping. Let me see what the... let's see if I actually made the gallop. Let's see. There's the gallop option. Travel page 208. Okay. I want to see what kind of a test that y'all have to make. I don't remember the exact difficulty.
Oh yeah.
All right. Yeah, I don't want to care about the chase. I just want... All right, there it is. Okay, so the way that this would work is you can gallop for any of the hours that you want. For when you're on horseback, it will effectively double your speed for the hour that you're traveling. And what you need to do is at the end of each hour you travel at that pace, the traveler or the steed must make an endurance test. It starts off at 9, and then a success will allow another hour of travel at that pace per degree of success that you get. So if you get multiple degrees of success. You can travel multiple hours beyond that, depending on how your steed travels.
Oh yeah.
That being said, pretty much everybody is going to be using roundsies, and we're having to do this as a group, so it's going to be, the difficulty will be a little bit different. We're just going to be looking for kind of group successes and group failures instead of singular stuff. So, if at any time the test fails, the pace can be sustained, but the traveler takes an injury, which is something that you can do to avoid taking health damage in combat. Once the traveler's injuries equal his or her endurance rank, the pace can be sustained further, but the traveler accumulates wounds instead, which are similar but worse. Should the number of wounds equal the endurance rank, the traveler dies. So don't do that. Most people, it literally says this in the rulebook, most people have common sense enough to stop and rest long before the risk of death. But yeah, so that's functionally what you'd be looking at to do. You would be rolling for your horse, and I would have to pull up the statistics, but they are somewhere here. I should be able to find it fairly quickly. You'll just be rolling and trying to beat a 9, and then any degrees of success that you get above that tells you how many hours beyond that you can travel without having to roll another one.
Okay.
Let's see. Find those creatures. There are
Yonder creatures.
steeds. Yes, here they are. Look at me. I did it all already. It has a 4 in endurance. So, yeah, you'd be rolling 4 dice for yours.
Okay.
The roundsy, to double check, has a 5 in endurance. Never mind.
Oh.
They roll
Oh,
more
yeah.
than you do. I guess they're
Let's go.
they're more bred for that. All right. So actually that wouldn't be that hard.
I love bread.
And you're not taking any pack animals, and you're not trying. Okay, yeah. So you're rolling. If you want to, you'd be rolling. Anybody that is on a roundsy would be rolling 5d6,
Do it.
Yep.
and anyone on a courser would be rolling 4.
The least amount of dice I've rolled in this game.
God, that's dumb. That's the least amount of dice you've rolled. Yeah. So let's go ahead and get that first roll, and I will get. Let me see what these guys have on their character sheets. Let's see, who do we have? We've got Nicholas
Damn,
is
bro.
with you guys.
Got a good
And
horse.
so is Sir Merrick Sand and Nim and Voro. There are a lot of people here.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
You did this.
I did do this. I know.
How dare.
All right. There's Nim's. Okay. So let's see. Nicholas is going to be rolling 5. Sir Merrick is going to be rolling. Oh, he's got a Destrier. He's even more. He's got even more of a warhorse.
Even
Also
war
rolls a
and
5.
wars.
All right. So yeah, Destrier also rolls 5. So he is going to roll 5, and let's see. Nicholas, Voro. What horse does Voro have? Roundsy. Nim, I think, also has a Roundsy. Yep. All right. She actually has a Roundsy. She's not going to give. She didn't get given one. Okay. So I will roll for Nicholas. 6, 17. All right. Which beats the 9 by, so that's 2 degrees of success. Sir Merrick is also 5. That is to 20. So that's 3 degrees of success. All right, you guys are going to be riding for a while, I think. At the increased speed. Another 20 for Voro. So 3. And jeez. Another 20 for Nim. All right. So yeah, 3, 3, 3, and 2 for them. So for you guys, how many degrees of success are we looking at?
I think I rolled a 16.
16? All right.
Mm-hmm.
And Martin?
I rolled a
Radova?
14.
14. All right. So that's
So 2.
still 2. Yep. Just barely.
Rolled a 25.
Not a boy.
25.
25.
Okay.
Mr. I don't know how to ride a horse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, rolled better than all the people that have ridden horses.
Yeah.
You know, when I got on it, I thought it was going to be something special, but this is nothing.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, with that, you are able to travel at the gallop pace for 3 hours before you have to make this test again. You can make it again. The difficulty this time will go up to a 12. Maintaining that pace for 3 hours means that you have essentially taken your 50 hours and cut out. You've traveled for. So you've cut out effectively 6 hours of that time frame. I think that's right.
Nice.
I may have to do that math differently, but that sounds right.
We going again?
So if you wish, you can go again, or you can continue at a normal pace for an hour and reset. You all succeeded pretty well last time, so if you want, you can keep going.
You wanna give it another shot there? Go for 2, and
Yeah,
then maybe give it a rest.
Let's do it.
All right.
I'm down.
Yeah, everybody go ahead and roll theirs. I'll try and do this quickly. One.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
That's not bad.
2. And let's see. Okay, total of 7 degrees of success. So average is a little bit lower this time. How's everybody doing over there?
I got a 20.
All right, so
17.
2 and
So still 2.
still 2, yeah. And then Radova?
23.
Hey.
Jesus Christ. All right. Yeah. So with that roll, you're able to continue for another 3 hours at that pace. Yeah, you got enough. You got just barely enough to go 3 hours at that pace. So that's 12 of the 50 hours that you've cut out. If you wish to go again, it'll be a difficulty of 15 this time. If you at any point don't succeed, your mount will start having to take injuries, which is something that the maester will have to look at, or someone will have to look at and treat if they start taking injuries.
I think cutting a total of 12 hours off of this trip is a pretty good start. I think maybe we can not press our luck a third time.
Yeah, I'm with that.
Yeah, you can travel for an hour, let the horses recoup, and continue on, and it will go down a level again. So, yeah, if you want to take a little bit of a break, you've been riding pretty hard for about 6 hours now. Your horses have been really handling it well. Take a bit of a break to eat your kind of mid-afternoon meal before you continue on the road again.
I think that seems like a reasonable course of action.
Let the horses graze a little bit and continue on your way. All right. So if you wish to do the same thing in the afternoon, you can. since the horses got a break, I'll let it reset back down to the difficulty of 9 again.
Let's go, baby. Let's do it.
All right.
I'm all about it.
Once
All right,
more
let
into the
me-
breach.
Yeah, let me do this. I think I had a dice roller app that'll do this quicker.
With fury.
Oh, that one wasn't nearly as good.
Ooh, yeah, that wasn't good either. It's 2. There we go. All right. Yeah, 10 degrees of success over here. How does everybody over there do?
I got a 19.
19? Okay. Yeah.
1
30
degree of success.
What did you roll?
A 12
Oh, yeah,
with
that is
4
1 degree.
dice.
That is 1 degree of
Yeah.
success. Yeah.
That's rough.
All right. That is rough.
17.
All right. With that, you are able to continue for another 3 hours at that pace without any issue. Yeah, your horses are holding up pretty well. Are able to shave another 6 hours off of that timeline. You have now traveled
Really?
like 18 of the 50 hours of the distance that you need to go. You can go again if you want to. You're back up to the formidable difficulty, so 12.
How many parsecs is this?
I have no idea the conversion of leagues to parsecs.
Damn.
All right. Are we doing it again, James?
How you feeling, buddy?
No, I believe we should slow it down for the rest of the day. We don't want to overexert our animals and then need them tomorrow.
All right.
Yeah,
Well,
it might
yeah.
be
Say,
nice
my
to
lord.
see some of the scenery instead of just all of it whizzing by anyway.
Fair enough,
Speaking of
fair enough.
whizzing.
Yeah, Sir Merrick agrees. Let the horses rest this afternoon a bit. You have already traveled for 9 hours, so you've got really only a few hours left to travel as the sun begins to set. So I will say that over the course of the next couple hours, you get ready for the evening's rest. You take the time to set up your pavilion tent, which is pretty big. It is big enough to house 10 people comfortably, I believe. So it is a big piece of equipment with a lot of little parts to it. But it's something that people have set up multiple times, so they're not unused to it. After you get the camp set up, you kind of get the fire gets started, and the little bit of supper is had, and you are able to make your beds for the evening. Sir Merrick kind of looks around, and how shall we divide the watch? Would be a good idea to keep someone awake, at least.
Can take first watch.
I'll take the darkest part of the night.
All right. If you'll wake me up when your watch is over, I will take the last watch. So 3 4-hour stints is roughly what you're looking at, so that everybody gets about 8 hours. And yeah, after your evening meal is had, everyone is able to kind of get their place set up in the tent and begin nodding off. Dolly, you are able to take first watch. So as you kind of observe the camp, kind of looking around, go ahead and give me an awareness notice check if you have any bonus dice in notice.
I do not. You should not have fucking taken watch. That's a 7.
Oof.
7. All right. The moon is out, but it's not full.
Hell yeah.
So you're able to see. It's a little dark. It's a little hard to distinguish things at a distance. Especially with the fire, you're kind of looking back and forth between the fire and the night, and your eyes are constantly having to adjust. But once you kind of figure out what you're doing, you get the grasp of it, and you pass your watch uneventfully, but without much real detail to give to the next person.
Yep. You said I wake up Merrick?
Iron Hand gets the darkest part of the night, so he's.
Oh, that's right.
Merrick gets the last one.
Yeah. Sneak into the tent quietly as I can and go rustle Iron Hand a bit. Hey, boy. You're up.
Yep. I'm up. Oh, take your rest, boyo. I
I'm
got it
down.
from here.
All right.
I do.
You are able to. Thali, you're able to take your bedroll and get your place to sleep. Iron Hand, you take your watch. Go ahead and give me a awareness notice check.
All right, so I have 1 bonus die for notice.
All right. What's your
So,
original in
4.
awareness? 4.
4 awareness with 1 bonus in, and
Yep.
I have the Night Eyes quality.
That is true. So you take no penalty caused by low light. All right. I wasn't going to give you one, but you wouldn't have gotten one. Yeah. So yeah, go ahead and give me that. So it'll be 5 dice. Take the lowest one away.
Great. Yep, I'm going to do that right there. So that gives me a 22.
22.
Mhm.
Yeah, you are very accustomed to being out at night, and the fact that the moonlight isn't that bright doesn't hurt at all. What happened here?
Sorry,
Justin's
I'm grabbing
game
some
off.
more.
Oh, something changed with the cameras, though. They
Oh, no.
swapped where they're at. What happened?
What'd I do?
I don't know.
You turned your camera off, and so it just moved our.
Oh
our
yeah,
order.
it moved the cameras around. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all.
Yeah. If that happens, it changes a lot of things. So.
Oh, you're welcome.
It moved my
Keep me on
camera
here.
over to
Want to turn my camera off over?
spot. Yeah.
Yeah, you did. That's
Yeah.
why I did it.
I don't know why it only worked that time. Then I don't know what happened.
You're just special, Josh. That's all.
I reckon. Oops.
Yeah. Yeah, and during the night, you've seen you're a little bit more accustomed to being out at night at sea, but you've been on your fair share of islands as well.
Sure.
You've seen lots of island wildlife, and you're pretty used to it. You're used to the kinds of snakes, lizards, rabbits, that kind of thing that you would find at night.
Critters of all
and
sorts.
you're not seeing anything like that, but you do notice a few birds kind of flying around.
In the middle of the night.
Yeah, in the middle of the night. It's I mean, you're used to birds, but these don't seem like, they're not owls, they're not night birds. They look like day birds, like some sort of day bird. And it's a little unusual, but yeah, it strikes you as a note, and then you kind of let it pass. An interesting thing. And but the rest
That's
of your watch goes by without any sort of event, and you are free to wake up Sir Merrick for his watch.
I'll pop into the pavilion and shake him awake a little bit. Oi, wake up! It's your turn.
He gets up quickly. He's got a military background, so he's, it doesn't take much to get him stirred and ready.
Oi.
And,
Keep your eyes open. There's some birds flying around middle of the night, not night birds. Just be aware. Keep your eyes up. Something's weird going on.
Odd. Keep an eye out for it. Thank you.
Hey, good luck to you. Sort of claps him on the back and
All right.
throws himself on the floor, tucks his arms behind his head, and goes to sleep.
Okay. I will
About like
roll
that.
his. See what he sees.
I have a little Foley work here.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Save me some time later. All right, and you are free to go to sleep. You get the rest of your rest and wake
Uh-huh.
up to the fire that has been kept going all night and the smell of some breakfast food being cooked
Yes.
by Sir Merrick. And he's got a few different things prepared, some sausages and eggs. This is probably the last time that you will get a meal quite this good. Obviously, I mean, you're not really going to be preserving much more of the good materials beyond a day or so out. But he's taken the time to prepare a nice little send-off breakfast. And you are able to eat that, ready your horses, and get ready for the next little bit of this trip. You have knocked off not quite half of the distance to the southern shore of the island. So let me go ahead and pull up the map so that I can show you whereabouts you guys are. So you have traveled past the Blue Wharf. Oh my goodness, I can't do two things at once. And are about right here on kind of this southern jut of island.
Oh,
Hopefully you guys can see all of that. So you know that you only have this little bit to get to that kind of crescent-shaped cove down there at the bottom.
Oh yeah.
now is this a point where we would have to pick like the east way or the west way, or
For the purposes of this, the rest of this, I am just going to say is mostly distance. So no, there is no real east or west way
Okay.
to get there.
Okay.
When we get closer to the place, if there is anything special you want to do on approaching the shoreline, let me know. But until we get close, and I will let you know when we get close, then all we're really trying to decide is how quickly you get there.
Okay.
So yeah, you have traveled effectively about 21 of the 50 hours worth of travel that you'd have to go.
okay.
Hell yeah.
So another day like the one that you just had would get you almost there, or roughly 2 days of normal travel would get you there as well.
Okay. Well, let's do it. We ride.
All right, go ahead and make them rolls. I'll do the same.
Oh boy.
Right. Well, here's to hoping no other weird shit happens on the way, eh?
Right. What weird? I didn't see anything weird.
Mm.
I gotta find this man's voice. I still haven't found it.
I guess those eyes of yours are only really good for shooting targets in the day, huh?
All right.
It's pretty accurate. I got a 15.
Okay. What'd you get, Martin?
Uh-oh.
Martin?
Got a 7.
Oh,
7!
no!
Oh,
Ooh, that ain't good.
So it begins.
What about the Iron Hand?
I'm doing math still. Okay, I was right the first time. 21.
21. All right. Well, that helps, but not quite enough. They did not roll as well, but nobody except for Martin actually failed the roll. Because of that, and the fact that this is kind of a group roll, You're not actually going to take any injuries for your horse, so don't worry about that. But you are not traveling for 3 hours at that pace. You're only traveling for 2.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that roll got you 2 hours at that pace. So 4 hours effectively that you've shaved off before the horses need to get tested again. So the difficulty here would jump up to a 12 if you want to go again.
Are you lordling?
That last bit took a bit out of me this morning. Let's slow it down, and we can pick up the pace after lunch.
Lo, we shall go.
Sounds fine to me.
Sounds wise, yes. And on this slower bit, you're able to kind of take in the scenery a little bit more, and it's the morning, so after the mist kind of dies away, you're able to kind of see the plains of the southern part of the island. All of you have traveled this island before. Martin, you're not as familiar with this as the rest of the group, but you have been here before as well. It has been some time since you have been allowed on this side of the island. But you know, it's a very pretty island. You're looking over mostly kind of flat, grassy sections of land, but you start to see hills over on the eastern side as you're riding. The coastline kind of slopes off to your right into the ocean and or into the sea, into the narrow sea off to your right as you're traveling down the coast. And at one point, as you're riding, Sir Merrick rides up alongside of you and says, "Young Lord Martin, might I have a word?"
Sir Merrick?
Yes, you chose to come with us. May I ask why? The last time I was with you here, it was to bring you back after a ransom. I hadn't thought to see you wanting to return.
It's simple. I have just grown bored with the tedium of lessons, day in, day out, yesterday, today, tomorrow. I needed a change.
Okay. I want you to make a, let's see, either a persuasion or a deception check, depending on which it is that you are being. So that's probably part of the truth. If it is the whole truth, then roll persuasion. And if it's not, roll deception and let me know what you get.
All right. What if mostly the truth? So what if it's mostly the truth?
I'll say I'll let you roll persuasion.
Okay.
If it's mostly the truth, yeah.
9.
9? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
He kind of he looks you over and fair enough. I understand getting tired of the same scenery day in and day out. I'm glad to have you with us. Interesting that you chose to join us for this. I hope I'm not out of line, but I hope that you're here for more than just the adventure and the escape. We are here trying to help real people.
Well, we'll see what comes of it when we arrive at our destination.
Yes, we shall. In any case, I'm glad you're with us, and I look forward to the rest of this trip. Okay, and you get the idea that he could tell that there was something you were keeping, but didn't pry.
Okay.
And you continue along the, not road, but just kind of along the plains south. You start to see the hills grow into larger, kind of more rocky, not really mountains, but the hills start to become more craggy and rocky as you travel farther and farther south. And you're approaching the place, or at least the area, where you were held prisoner for almost a week. And this is the first time that you have been in this area since then. So as you get closer, the kind of, I don't know, tension in the group grows a little bit as everyone knows that that's probably the last time that you were here. And most everyone in the group was involved in some way in getting you back. Nicholas stayed at the castle, and Nim was, I don't think she was involved in it. But Sir Merrick, like I said, brought the ransom to the pirates and brought you back. And then Radava and Thali were part of the group that went out and captured the pirates after they left the island. And the morning passes, and you're able to get your next meal in, give the horses another rest, and resume traveling in the afternoon. Back
Okay.
at the difficulty of 9, should you wish to resume the gallop option again. Yay? Nay?
Let's do it.
Sure.
Good for
them
one
dice.
more.
Roll them dice.
I'm gonna roll some different dice. I may regret this as soon as I do it.
Oh, shit, lost one.
Oh, that was a good one.
That was not.
That'll make up for your not good one, I think.
I hope so.
Oh
Okay.
boy.
Those were middling, except for that one.
Oh. 14.
All right. 14?
Yep.
All right. Martin, what'd you get?
12, 14, 16. 16.
16. All right. And Iron Hand?
13.
13. Okay, that's not that bad.
Not awful.
Yeah.
Just not, what I wanted to see.
Yeah. Well, you still are able to, with those rolls, gain a 3-hour stint at that pace. So, shaving off another 6 hours of your trip, you're looking now that you have traveled over half of the distance there.
Hey!
Huzzah.
And you now have the option to go again at a 12 difficulty.
Do we ride hard into the night, or do we take it leisurely and maybe ride harder tomorrow?
I think it wise for us to take the break this evening.
Well, you're the better horseman than me, your lordship, so
For sure.
I will defer to you on that matter.
Hell yeah. Nighttime.
All right. As you continue traveling, all told, you have now traveled. Let's see. That was 21, 10. You're looking at about 38 of your 50 hours. So another full day's travel will get you there at a normal pace. If you wish to hurry up a little bit the next day, you could get to the coast before evening because of the pace that you have made so far. So I'll move that little... Oh, no, that was the wrong thing.
Any of us, maybe... Ouch. Any of us know that, Drew?
No, would any of you know
Know
how far
what
you have to
just
go?
told us. Yeah.
Yes, you would be aware of the travel time and the
Okay.
distance that you're covering, yeah. And the landscape that you're at, you know relatively where you are. And
Okay.
Nim is very familiar with this island. She's lived here her whole life and mostly not in the city. So she's very familiar. She knows where you are.
So, then, what's the plan? Do we ride hard tomorrow and get there early, or do we take it easy? Get there late? I'm assuming this is as we're like setting up camp.
Camp for the evening, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm of the opinion that the earlier we get there, the better chances we have of saving anybody from any unscrupulous types what might be lurking in the shadows.
True.
But that said, if we ride hard and stumble along the way, we're a little less prepared than we would be if we showed up a little bit later. Personal safety or safety of those we're after. That's what we're measuring, I say.
All right. Well, you are able to set up camp for the evening. Do you want to resume the same watches as the last time?
I think so. Radova's gonna aim for second part of the night regardless.
Okay. That works. With his night eyes, that makes the most sense. Thali, you want your position as the first watch again?
I'll take it.
All right. Go ahead and give me that awareness notice roll.
Yikes. Here we go. Let's see what we got. Let's roll some good dice. Well, even worse, I rolled a 5.
A 5.
God.
All right. Yeah.
Am I even aware? I mean, am I even aware that it's nighttime?
You are aware that it is nighttime. Yes, of course.
Jesus.
Yeah. The moon is a little bit more full tonight, and it just seems to captivate you. You find yourself just staring at it over and over again. Yeah, it's just this bright white moon, crescent shape that you just find yourself consumed by multiple times. So you find yourself distracted and returning to old memories instead of actually paying attention to what you're looking out for.
Damn it.
That's rough, buddy.
No,
yeah.
Shut up, Colin. No moon jokes.
Don't notice anything super out of the ordinary. I hope I know where the moon joke was going. And you pass the time uneventfully. Nothing super interesting happens. Just that moon just looks really, really pretty tonight.
Okay. Thali returns to the tent after his watch then and goes to wake up Iron Hand, and he's like, Hey, you're up, and the moon is just so beautiful. I don't know, just like captivating tonight.
That's That's great. I'm really pleased you found that for yourself there, Boyle. Well, you'll get some sleep, why not?
Good night.
And Radova will walk out and kind of look up and squint at the moon before taking his watch.
All right, go ahead and give me your awareness notice check.
Let's see here. It's not as good as the last time. Bummer. That's a 14.
14. All right, yeah. As you you resume watch, you tend to the fire, you get it back, to its normal size, and observing, and yeah, the moon really is quite pretty tonight. It's a little bit more full than it was the last night. You can tell that it'll be full soon. Yeah, but you still pay attention to your surroundings and do your job as a watchman. And looking around, you don't take notice of anything super out of the ordinary. You kind of keep an eye out for the birds again. And you kind of hear some far-off chirps, but you don't hear anything super close. And the rest of your watch passes uneventfully.
God, I hate chirping birds. All right, good Sir Knight. Time for you to take over. Radova will go and rouse him.
Yeah, he stirs, and it's easy for you to tell that he's a little bit stiffer than he was the last night getting up. It's probably been a while since he has been out of the castle for any length of time, riding hard, sleeping on the ground. It's beginning to show signs of wear on him. He's also, he is a military man raised, but he hasn't been very active in a while. So, and he's 44, so he's older.
A little tired.
Yeah, a little tired. So he gets up a little bit slower, picks up his watch, and you are able to go to sleep. And in the morning when you wake up, you kind of you walk out to the fire where he is at, and he comes back from a daydream, looks like. And oh, Radova, good to see you. Yes, I should get going with breakfast again. Gets the things together, cooks some more sausage up. No eggs this morning. And you are able to get the horses ready for what is likely to be the last day of riding before you reach that line of coast. And you are able to resume travel. So you've got about 12 hours of regular riding distance to cover. If you want to get there earlier, you will have to gallop a little bit.
Sounds good to me.
I say we give it the old college try.
All right.
Yeah.
Once
Go ahead
more.
and roll me
15.
up some more endurance tests.
Okay.
2,
Ooh,
5,
that was decent.
8, 9. Okay.
I got a 20.
20. All right.
Nine. On the dot.
On the dot. All right.
All
Well,
right.
that'd be a
Nice.
success. All right. Well, that is. They rolled exactly enough to get you to the 3 with your successes. So that gets you 6 hours of travel for the price of 3.
Hey.
Mm-hmm.
I rolled a 21, so I think we're probably okay.
Yeah. So you're looking at 6 more hours worth of travel, and it's around, like 10, 11 in the morning right now.
Yeah.
So you can take it easy, or you can ride hard a little bit more and get a little bit closer. It depends on what you guys want to do as you approach. If you want to be riding hard as you get there, or if you want to slow down before you get there.
Oh, let's slow down before we get there. And be a sneaky boy.
All right. Well, I
the
will
best of our
say
ability.
one more to see how close you can get riding hard. And we will go from
That's
there.
right.
So let me get
Here we go,
one
James.
last, 2, 3.
Yep.
Oh, all right, it's 12 now.
Just screw it all up.
Ooh.
That's good.
Ooh, that was not bad either.
8. Okay. Yeah, they rolled pretty well too. Not superbly, but not poorly.
I got a 27.
Nice.
All right.
I got a 20.
20. Yeah, that's still
Mhm.
pretty good. Martin?
14.
14.
Hey.
Still a success though.
Hell
Alright.
yeah.
Good. Everybody is able to maintain that 3-hour speed. So that would get you all the way there by about 2 in the afternoon. So as you continue at this fast pace, approaching the southern craggy part of this island, you get to the... Let me go ahead and see if I can move this. You're approaching this kind of coastline here. You go through some of the rocky, craggy hills approaching, and as you get nearer and nearer to the coast, you see kind of on the horizon what looks like a darker cloud, and you don't know what to make of it at first. But after a while, Radova, you're the first that can clearly tell that this looks like a swarm of crows up ahead of you.
Ooh.
That's unfortunate.
And
Don't like
as you get closer and closer, you begin to smell this stench of rot and death. And
Plug your nose and cover your eyes, those of you with faint stomachs.
And you get closer to this kind of crescent coast, looking out into where it kind of slopes off. You see a kind of a small little cliff outcropping that slopes down into a sandy beach, and on the beach itself, you are able to make out at this distance as you're coming up what look to be several small figures making their way across the beach. And where they're moving, you see kind of these flocks of birds moving back and forth up into the air away from the people as they're moving back and forth. What do you do on your approach?
Radova is immediately going to slow his horse down and hop off of it
Yes.
completely, and kind of throw up a quick hand sign to everybody else to kind of give them a heads up about the figures in the distance.
Okay.
I would do the same, yeah.
I do have something for this, and Martin goes into his backpack and takes out his far eyes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
That was way too expensive on that list for little old Thali. I was like, nah, I can't
Yeah.
handle 4 eyes.
All right.
Not cheap.
Mhm.
So yeah, whoever wants to use these far eyes to look, I will say, if you have, I'll okay. So because of the far eyes, what I will do is I'll give you 2 bonus dice on an awareness notice check to anybody who wants to use it to observe the beach ahead.
Yeah, I mean, in character, Thali thinks he's doing a damn great job doing the watch. So somebody's gonna have to get to those far eyes before Thali does.
Radova will kind of put a hand up and stop Thali and look at Martin. Take a look at the shoreline, Boyle. Tell me what they look like. Kind of
Again?
looks at Radova as so. Thali is the minute that Martin pulls these far eyes out, Thali is like, "Ooh, I have good eyes." Radova's going to put a hand up and kind of stop him and kind of look at him and look back to Martin and hey Boyle, take those fancy peepers of yours and tell me what they look like on the far shore there.
All right. So, Martin, if you want to make this test, it'll be your awareness plus the 2 bonus dice, which I think means you're rolling 4 and taking away the bottom 2.
Yep.
I guess I don't understand that mechanic so much because what's his? I get it. Never mind. I'm good.
So, yeah.
My
So,
aware-
any
my
I got it.
awareness
I
is
figured it out.
to-
I
Well,
figured it out.
for anyone that's listening, and I'll go ahead and for the YouTube people, I can actually do this and show people your character sheet.
That's a fair point.
Yeah, so let me do that. real quick.
Hey.
So yeah, with Martin's, he is rolling an awareness. He's got a rank of 2 in that skill. So he's rolling 2d6, and then any bonus dice that he would have in notice would be added to that. And then with bonus dice, the way that they work is any bonus dice that you add to the roll get taken away at the end, but you're removing the lowest. So they're essentially making it easier for you to get higher scores. So he is getting 2 bonus dice from the far eyes. So he is rolling a total of 4 dice, taking away the lowest 2, and giving me that answer.
I rolled a 1, a 3, and 2 6s.
Nice.
Hey! So
Well,
That's what we
total
like to
12.
see.
All right. That's good because your awareness is not that great. So rolling
Nope.
your top score is pretty much what you needed to get this. As you pull out your far eyes and look across the beach in front of you, you kind of scan across. You see, like what I said, the little cliff that kind of drops off before you get to the sandy beach outcropping. And you see the clouds of crows scurrying back and forth, both on the beach and kind of getting closer onto the shore where you also see fairly clearly with the far eyes, you see several figures moving back and forth to what look to be other figures laying on the sand, unmoving. You see that some of the people that are moving back and forth look to be wearing small pieces of armor, bits of whatever they've been able to throw together. None of it looks to be great quality, but functional. And they you see a handful moving across the beach to the other figures that seem to be laying unmoving on the beach. In the kind of center of the crescent, you are immediately struck by a small boat that has crested onto the sand on this shore. You see crows all around it. You see men moving back and forth, 2 figures around it. But this boat on this stretch of beach exactly matches what you remember from your dream a few nights before.
Okay.
And that's where we're going to call it tonight.
Nice.
I think that makes the most sense because we've already gone a bit longer than I intended, but yeah. So there
Red.
you have it.
Works for me.
Red.